Mark 13:8. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquake in diverse places, and there shall be famine and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrow. First and foremost, all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chachadash, the ones that have passed the great millstone, and shalom to brothers in the highways and byways that are doing the work sincerely and faithfully and continuing fighting the good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. All right. So America's fallen. Babylon the Great is fallen. Okay. And in the midst of its falling, these prophecies are happening and coming to pass. All right. We've been seeing and hearing a lot about the serpent's venom. All right, the chip. But we can't forget the prophecy of the famines as well. Not that we forget, but we got to speak about the prophecies of the famine. All right, that's going to be another plague that's going to cause a lot of great death on this planet, man. Okay, there's going to come a point in time you're not going to be able to buy food. You're not going to be able to buy shelter, clothing. So a lot of people are going to succumb to this thing. And as it says, these are the beginning of sorrows. As the saying goes, one thing leads to another. All right? And we're seeing the kingdom rise against kingdom. All right? We're seeing the earthquakes in diverse places. And before you know it, you're going to start seeing these truckers and these storehouses becoming slowly but surely empty. All right? There's a quick video.
While the world turns the spotlights to failed attempts of fixing broken economic systems, a hunger crisis is spreading across the globe. Amid a sanitary outbreak that is devastating countries politically and economically, and as a consequence of catastrophic natural disasters, recent reports are indicating that we're about to see famines of biblical proportions. Countries that once eradicated the dreadful effects of malnutrition are witnessing a recurrence of high poverty rates, meaning that a larger portion of their population is now facing deep food insecurity.
Okay, so here you have it. Deep food insecurity, lack of bread, storehouses closing up, and it's worldwide. What do you say? We're going to start seeing things of biblical proportions. I love when people use that phrase because they're reverting back to the prophecies in the scriptures. Okay? And these prophecies are not lying. They're coming to pass slowly but surely. No one's going to escape them, man. Nobody outside of the men of the Lord is going to escape these troubles. We've been out here teaching this word about the chip and about the venom, but our people still choose not to serve the Lord. What's this here? This is second Ezra, Second Kings, chapter 6, and we start at 24. It says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up to besiege Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it. All right. So speaking and learning about, the times of famine is all throughout the scriptures. So there's no need to get all, worked up and beside yourself when you start to realize that these very prophecies that you're reading are coming to pass, are a reality. Okay? And it says, And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. Okay, there's not much meat on the head of an animal. In some countries, the head of the animal is downright barbaric to eat. But as you you become hungry and food becomes scarce, you're going to see a lot of people eating a lot of unlawful things just to fill that void in their stomach. Okay? And it says, in the fourth part of a calves of a dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. Okay? Even bird shit became a hot commodity. Once again, that term biblical proportions, man, you people better get familiar with it. You better get familiar with it, because the shit that you're going to experience and witness, first and foremost, it was prophesied, and it's going to happen. Okay, biblical proportions. Biblical proportions. That's a term that Esau loves to use when he's speaking something of major catastrophe or anything. All right. Continuing on, it says, and as the king of Israel was passing upon the wall, he cried. There cried a woman unto him, saying, "Help me, my lord, O king." And he said, "If the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress?" All right. And keep in mind, you brothers are going to be seeing, a lot of people asking for help, looking for direction, trying to seek guidance. You see? And they're going to be looking for you. They're going to be looking for you. And a lot of people won't get turned away because you turned your nose up at a time. You turned your nose up at the Lord at a time when there was no trouble. There was no calamity. There was no sorrow. You turned away from the Lord at that time. And now that the time is coming where these sorrows and these calamities are going to reign supreme in the land, then what? Now what? You think the Lord is going to receive with open arms after you've been most rebellious? I doubt it. Verse 28, and the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. You see that? They boiled her own son and they ate him. All right, you women better get used. You women better get on the ball around here. Get with the program. The time is gonna come where you're going to eat your own sons and your daughters. Okay. Continuing on, and it came to so we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes and passed by upon the wall. And the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth upon his flesh. All right. So that time is coming, man. You women are gonna be doing some real strange shit, especially without no man in your life. And when I say in your life, meaning being around. Okay? You're gonna be in for a rude awakening, man. And men too. You scoffers and scorners, you too. You're gonna be in for a rude awakening. Right? And this is why you people love to stay here in Babylon. And when the going gets tough, you're gonna go get Esau and try to have Esau help you through this thing. All right, and it's the same thing going back to the account of Exodus, what we're about to read now, Exodus 14 and 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. All right, and once again, you're going to get a lot of Israelites out there who are going to put their trust in Esau, because Esau seems to be the safe bet, the safe way to go. You know? And people don't like to listen to us because we're not scholars, so to say. We're not all suit and tied up. Fresh fade, you know? This is why the world hates us. The men of Great Millstone. Because we're not seeking to, preserve our life here in Babylon so that Esau can, stick you with some venom or put you in a concentration camp or stick you with a chip in your hand. And this is what Israel pretty much was crying about. When Moses took them out into the wilderness, they were all busted up and sad, saying such things like, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And the majority of them almost did die. The majority of them did die. Okay? But once again, it's not anything new. When hell starts breaking loose, you people are going to run right to Esau. No doubt about it. Just like Israel wanted to run right back to Pharaoh in Egypt, because when they got across, they realized it wasn't as glorious as they thought it was going to be. Okay? Another quick clip.
Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. As we've been discussing through this pandemic, more and more Americans are struggling with the issue of food insecurity. When you look at the numbers, they're staggering to size it all up. Keep in mind, before the pandemic hit back in 2018, nearly 8 million Americans, just 4% of adults here in the country, reported members of their households sometimes or often not having enough food to eat. That number surged to 26 to 29 million Americans, or 11% of adults, since we've hit this pandemic here. And joining us now to discuss that is Food Research and Action President Luis Guardia joins us now as part of our Food Insecurity in America segment, sponsored by CIT. And Luis, the numbers are staggering here, and I know that's just the headline number, but talk to me about what you're seeing play out across the nation here. Put that number into context for us when we talk about how big of a problem this has now become.
Yeah, it's an enormous problem. And as you mentioned in our report, when we saw that 26 to 29 million adults reported that they sometimes are often don't have enough to eat, that is a stage of food insecurity where people are not just, it's beyond food insecurity in a way. It's beyond.
All right, so there you have it. 29 million Americans are on the verge of going hungry. And nobody's going to be able to stop this, man. The humanitarian aid and all that shit is going to be nowhere to be found. And this is another reason why you're going to have a lot of dead people laying in the streets, man. Okay? You got to realize the shit that's about to happen. The cutting off of the food, the cutting off of the highways and byways, the restrictions of, letting people in certain establishments. It's coming. and nobody's gonna be able to stop it, man. Nobody. This is Second Ezra. I believe it's chapter 2. And I'll start at about 2:27. It says, Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. All right. So in a way, in a sense, we have the hope for the elect. We look forward to the things that are coming, man. We hope and pray that they come quicker. All right. It says, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Why are we going to be merry and have abundance? Because the Lord is going to provide for us. Why? Because we're holding true the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? But going back to verse 27, it says, Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful. Others outside of the hope for the elect. Okay? Others are going to weep and be sorrowful. 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Be joyful, O thou mother, which thy children, for I will deliver them, saith the Lord. Remember the children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them. For I am merciful, saith the Lord Lord Almighty. All right. So all in all, man, we're waiting on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Whether it be for deliverance, for protection, that we may find something to eat in these last days when all hell starts breaking loose. May Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai continue to guide us. But if he wants you to starve, you are going to starve, man. And this is another reason why you got to continually pray to the Lord. Even with situations like this where, we're reading about different types of famines and plagues that happen. You may be on the highways and byways for 15 years. Then all of a sudden the famine comes around. You might be taken by that. Right? So constantly endure, man. Constantly endure and continually pray without ceasing to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that none of these plagues, none of them, that they may pass right by us when they start to take hold of the world. All right. So with that, I'm gonna end it right there. Lord willing, you brothers are edified, and I see you on another show. I say shalom.